Under the class folder, create a file called class1.js. 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 You will write there import React, comma, component. In functional component, you have used use state. Remember, use state we have called for the state management. Similar way here for state management, we have to call the component is the name of the class. Import React component from React. Okay, hope ready. Come down below, write a class name, my class one extends component. Component C will be capital. Export my class one. Default you need to add here. Tomorrow, day after tomorrow, till 5th you have continue. You can see the video will come now in YouTube. Tomorrow we have class in time, 12 o'clock. Or I will update you if any changes. Because from 5th I will be going to my hometown. From 5th I will not be here for nearly 7-8 days. 5th evening I have tickets, so I will be going. I will come somewhere 14th. 5th to 14th I will not be here. So before that you need to finish your this one. Yeah. Tomorrow we have 2 classes. One class we have for jQuery in the morning, and one will be your React that you can attend. I will see you the time and all. React is the last syllabus. jQuery is there, optional subject. If you want to attend, tomorrow we have class, you can attend it. 8 o'clock is not jQuery. We'll update you the time again. 8 o'clock.
After we have going on when we start.
Your project will be on the weekend. Online you can attend. Like the morning 8 o'clock, 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, 7:30 nearly. Render will have return So in class component, render function we have to use to print the output. Okay, in class component, we have to use the render function. In class component, we have to use the render function to print any kind of output. In class component, we have to use the render function to print any kind of output. In class component, we have to use the render function to print the output. क्या बोला सुजान? Come below, division, class name equal to all hyphen lg hyphen 12 text hyphen center. X3 React.js class component set state example. Hmm.
And after React,
After React, you need to attend project, attend the interviews, whichever the question people ask, prepare for that question before going to the next interview. Attend 4-5 interview, seriously, somewhere you will get chance. Okay, after attending one interview, before going to the next interview, you must be ready what question people have asked in last interview. Okay, because some certain question answer will be there everywhere. Everywhere people will ask something similar question answer. So those question answer people ask similar everywhere should be clear on that. Okay, once you attend one interview, somewhere 15 question you will come, you will get to know. Before going to the second interview, that 10-15 question you prepare well, then go. Next interview again you will get 10-15 question. People will ask from you. You need to remember that, or maybe something. Keep your mobile in recording. Do anything, but remember the questions. Before going to the third interview, prepare the answer of first interview question and second interview question. Go for third interview. So that way, if you attend 4-5, you will have nearly 100%.
So what will be the interview? What will be the interview?
I don't know. Company can ask anything.
Okay, so regarding the topics are aptitude.
What written test it is? It is the technical or mathematics? What is that? It should be there, no?
Assignment test. Assignment test.
They will give you some task to do. I will give you some task to do that. Okay, so wrote this. Call this file in your routing app.js file. Component is a predefined class. It is a class name, predefined class name. Component is a predefined class name where under the React, it has a state management related functionality. So we have created our own class, my class one. It is extending the feature from the component. Extends is written here. Extends meaning inherit. Inherit. So my class one is our class name. It is going to inherit. It is going to bring all the feature from the component class. If you move your mouse here, it will show you some kind of say that. I mean, alias class component. Okay, alias interface component something. Okay. So you can say it's a existing class. From there we are inheriting some feature. We are calling some feature and giving to the our class. That is called my class one. Okay, hope ready. You imported that. Import the my class one under your app.js file. Import my class one. Import my class one from dot slash class slash class one. Next, after that, we can add here class one. Class one, my class one. Path you can give only class one. Okay, hope added. Come to the header file. Under the header file, you can add a link. Under the header file, we can add a link. You can add inside also. You can add outside also. So let me add here. separate link for that. The class component. Class component. Class 1. Class 1. Hmm? My hometown is Bihar. India. Another side of world, another side of your country. From my hometown, my home is exactly on the border of India and Nepal. Border, complete border. The service road is the border, and this building is my house. We come on the border itself. Government has made a very wide road, 100 feet road, 100 feet wide, like a highway, 6 lane. Okay, for army. That become our main route. Okay, so now your data is coming now. Page is listed. Next, after that, we can come to the file class1.js file. In functional component, which function you have used to create the state variable? Remember, in functional component, how you create the state variable? Using the use state. Using use state in functional component, we create a state variable using the use state. Come down here. Come to the class, write a constructor. Under the constructor, you have to call here super function. Okay, what is that super function? Super function, simple term you can understand. You are extending the feature from here, from the component class. In component class, we have some feature. This class is going to inherit. Okay. Now under the component only, there will be some variable. That variable you can't access even. Okay, under the component class, there will be some variable. That variable you cannot access directly. Now to access that variable, we require to call this. Call it a super. Like suppose in this component class, there will be some private and secure variable. Okay, that private and secure variable you cannot access directly here. Yes, we are able to extend that, but not everything. Okay, some limited resource. Now super functions is like if you call me here under the constructor, I can bring all the private member, I can bring everything of the component to where under the current class. So it will bring all the feature of component class to where current class. That is called my class.
So like a friend function,
Uh,
like friend function.
Not parent
Super.
function. Super function used to call the constructor of parent class. That is the definition of that.
Okay.
Super function used to call the constructor of parent class. Super function used to call the constructor of which one? Parent class. So under
Parent.
parent class component, there is some feature under the constructor that will get called here. If you will not write that, your program will not work. Constructor if you have used, and then if you are going to write any line here without super, it will not allow to write. You have to write the super constructor. Now come inside, create a variable. What is constructor? Is a JavaScript function, JavaScript class function. It is a predefined function. Under that function, we assign the variable, we create the variable, we set initial value under the constructor. Constructor will get it will execute automatically. You don't have to call the constructor manually. Constructor will get called automatically as soon as this component will get called. Now when the constructor will call automatically, what we are going to do inside, let's come. First to write a alert here and see that alert is calling automatically or not. Hi constructor. Hi constructor. Okay, hope written. Come to the browser, see, are you getting the alert? Alert will come automatically. You don't need to do anything. As soon as the page will load, alert will come. So when the alert will come automatically as soon as the class function will get called. Okay, so constructor will execute automatically as soon as your component get called. Constructor get execute automatically as soon as your component get called. Okay. Now inside that you are going to create the variables using this variable. This dot state is a predefined variable. It's a predefined array coming from that component class. This dot state is a predefined array coming from the component class. State is a predefined array coming from the component class. This dot state equal to create a variable called counter :100. Under the state array, you are creating an object name is called counter. You will come down here. use the h1, print inside that counter variable. Counter variable you cannot print directly. You have to go on here this dot state dot counter. This dot state dot counter, because counter is a part of a state and a state is already written here this dot state. So you have to write this dot state dot counter. Check now. What is the
So the counter stores the value 100. Counter stores the value 100.
counter store the value as a 100. They are given here. They are given here counter colon 100. So definitely counter will show as a 100 only. This dot state equal to counter. This dot state equal to counter. So under the state you are passing a variable called counter in the object format. It has a value called 100. Now it will print you here. Likewise, create another one more variable called click. Total click colon 0. Print here total click also. Write a paragraph. Total click you can not print directly. You have to use this dot state dot total click. This dot state dot total click. Okay, so what is saying total click how much? 0. See now how to create the variable under the state in the class component. This is the method. In functional component, you if you remember, we used to follow const. After const, variable, then function equal to use state. That way we have follow where under the functional component. Okay, under the functional component we used to follow in that way. In class component now you have to use this dot state equal to flower bracket inside variable name colon value, variable name colon value. Now if you want to change the value of the variable, you cannot change directly. You have to take the help from this function. Which function? Set state. There we used to create our own variable and function. Remember? Counter, update, counter something. So that was our own variable. Using our variable, we used to change the value of a function, variable. There was our own function. Using our own function, we were changing the value of a function. But here, only one function is a predefined function that is called set state. Set state function will help you to change the value of all the state variable. Here we don't have to create the function again and again and different function. Using one function we can change the value of, using set state only we can change the value of state counter also, and we can change the value of total click also. Both we can change through the same function, that is called use state. Now use state, set state. Okay, now come down how to change the value. Write a function here. Hmm.
If we are doing one program, then we can support.
You can use both, one file using class component, one file using the function component. Both method people use.
Which is not good.
Functional component. But project will not be only in the class component, it will be based on both function and class both. Okay. Okay, now come there. Write a function here called function 1 equal to fat arrow method. Inside you can call the set state. First keep a alert here. Call hi. Now you create a button here after paragraph. Call click to plus by 10. On click equal to call the function this dot function 1 and check once alert is coming or not.
Here are we have to do this.
Hmm.
This we have to do.
Which is this is fixed always. Inside the class, if you want to call any function and variable, you have to call this one. Call this dot 1. So because it is pointing inside the class, so object is required. So this is called as object of current class. This called as object of current class. Error.
See only in C class.
Where is your file? Go to SRC folder, class folder. You have created any folder called class
No folder, just a file.
folder. It is in the folder. Class1.js file in the class folder. Keep there a folder called class and keep inside. Okay, you ready? Next, after that, button click. Are you getting alert? So changes is minor changes. There is not a very huge change. Render function is same. Map is same. On click is same. Okay. Yes, on click will not you write directly. You have to write it with this dot click. Over here. Now inside this function you have to write.
Will the class component be directed to somewhere APIs or hooks functions like that or what?
Hmm?
What many advantages of this render and class functions?
First learn, no, then you will get the advantage. After learning only you can compare. Class functional component is of. Now see the class component, then you can compare both. Which one is easy, which one is difficult. In class
And both will be required.
hmm?
Both will be required or only this?
Both is required. Class component and functional component, both is required. Okay, now inside the function one, you call this dot set state. Under the this dot set state, call the counter. Under the counter, you write this dot state dot counter plus 10. This dot state dot counter plus 10. So it is going to increase the value of counter variable by 10. Mhm. Mhm. Write one more function like this and create one more button. Click on that, decrease by 10. Increment is happening. Write one more function. Function to create one more button. Click on second button, should minus by 10. Without any function, second function. Create one more button. Okay, hope working. Second button click. It's getting minus by 10. Once we click here, increment will happen by 10. If you click again, decrement will happen by 10. So this is nothing but you are increasing the value of state. You are changing the value of state. So you are changing only one variable here called counter. You are not changing the click. So we can go here and we can keep a comma here. And in the same line also we can write, or new line we can write total click equal colon this dot total click plus one. Semicolon is not required here. Same thing you can add in the next place also. Whether you do click or plus or minus, no problem. It should increase by one. Okay, what's happening? Come down below. Now see variable, how to create the state variable under the class component using this dot state. In class component, how to create the state variable using this dot state. This dot state equal to in flower bracket variable value create. How to update the value of a state variable using set state. Set state function is need a function in the JSON format. So you are creating the JSON here. First is a counter, second is the value, again counter value, right? Now if you want to, okay, if you want to,
This dot state is
this dot state here, this dot, because total click belong to where? State only. Total click is a part of which variable? State variable. So we have to call through a state. You can't call directly. This dot state dot variable.
counter before the system.
Where I called everywhere. This dot state dot counter. Counter is the one variable. Total click is another variable. Both are separate. Both are separate variables, so both have to call through the counter only. Both have to get called through the this one, through the state. Without a state, you can't call anything in the class component. In class component, everything should get called through the state. Change the button, go to the button and apply a class. Maybe danger or success or into anything you can apply there. So the value is able to change. Counter is changing or not? Counter and click both should change. Counter and click both should change. See, click becomes a NaN. Oh, click becomes a NaN. Why? We have written here this dot state is required here also. Yeah. Oh, same thing I have asked. This this dot state dot this dot state dot state is required everywhere while calling a variable.
Without static string as strings. Without static strings as strings.
Without a state is undefined. Without a state, it's undefined. None only will come because undefined plus undefined, if you do addition, it will come as a 9. Two undefined variable, if you do addition, it will come as a 9. NaN. Right? Coming. Click will increase if you do the plus or minus anything. Now apply the button classes. Danger and success for both the button. It will look better. Coming. Okay, now we can leave this example. Come to the next example. In that we got idea of two functions. One function is called set state and another one is called how to create a state variable. So how to create the state variable in class component. ERIMA primary M-3. No, that I'm not asking. I'm asking how to create a state variable in class component. This dot state. Using this dot state. How to change the value of a state variable in class component. Using this dot set state. Using set state, you can change the value, and using this dot state, you can create the variable. Using this dot state, we create the variable, and using this dot set state, we change the value. So how to create suppose a question come in front of you, how to create a state variable in class component. This dot, say using this dot set state, using this dot state. Okay, question is how to create a state variable under the class component. What will be the answer? Using this dot state. How to change the value of a state variable in class component? Using this dot set state. How to create a state variable in functional component? Using use state. How to update the value of a functional variable in functional component? Using a state function. Using a state function. We create counter, comma, update counter, message, comma, update message. So using a state function, you can say. Using a state function. Now using use state, you create the variable. Using a state function, you change the value in functional component. In class component, how you change? Using set state. Using this dot state, we create the variable. Remember or not remember? You are right. Okay, then we can go ahead for the next file, another file, one more we can create. There we can see some more. Next example, create next file, class2.js. You can take the copy of class 1. Take the copy of class 1. Class2.js. Okay, book written, second file. In that you can paste the content of last two file. Change the name my class 2. Here also change the name my class 2. Now after that, go under the state variable. We have created a counter. We'll modify little this. You can write here call book list, the array. Create one more call, user list, one more array. Okay, under the book list, store some book name, HTML, CSS, JavaScript, PHP, MySQL, Node.js, user list, store some user, fill, Ganesh, Raj, Anil, function 1, function 2 you don't need as of now. You can remove that. And you can make a first is a for user list, user list, user list. Now print here list of users. This dot state dot user list dot map. Name of the user and index of the user. Return a paragraph key equal to index, print here the name. Sequence, this should come in your page. Hope listing. You can add this page in the routing app.js file and check once user list is coming or not. Coming. We can go here again. Keep one more college for display the second details also. Book list. Book list.map. Printing. Now create one more state variable company list. Restore 5 company list and display in the last 4. Two array you have got book list and user list. Create one more state variable, company list. Put 5 company name and display in the last 4. Division. Return inside the render. Go under the render. Where you have written render. Render will not have flower bracket. Render has no any flower bracket. Go here. Inside the return, okay. Come there. Then what is other? Come to the browser.
Something.
No, come to the browser. What it says? It says that is one extra. So the class 1116
JCC.
missing semicolon. Okay. Here, yes. Understood. Go to the code. The constructor is start here, right? It has to close here. No? Put one more curly bracket after that. So, Company list is coming. Let's go ahead next. Error.
Display and also list about list of the user list of
This dot everywhere. Wherever you want to print this variable, because this variable is not individual variable. This variable is the part of a state. And before a state, you can see it's already written, no, this dot state. So if you are going to call the variable from a state, it has to follow the state. And along with that, there must be the, you can say there must be the variable name or if inner level variable, but this has to be the main one. Come now. In the first text box, okay, let me add in the routing. My class 2, we have the file name. And go header file. In header file, I will add a link here. Class 2. Class 2. Okay. Now if I come here into the app file, I need to import here my class 2. Import my class 2. See, I made a platform. I made such a platform where people will sit, people will discuss, automatically they will become engineer. That room you saw, no sounds are coming. 10 people are there in that.
Last 3 days. Oh, I don't know. Shouting, sir.
Huh? Not shouting. They are explaining to others. Explaining to others. Okay. So out of 10, all will become automatically experienced people within 1 or 2 months. Automatically. They are able to implement excellent functionality. Go here. So this data is coming, something like this. They are also implementing like similar, but the person are able to understand, someone will convince him. Now come to the file again, class 2 file. In class 2 file, what we want? We want to add here new users. We want to add here new books. Right? So how to do that? Let's go to the first four. And create a text box. Input type equal to text. Class name equal to formation control. After that, hello. तीन महीना नहीं हुआ ना हम लोगों का, कितना महीना हुआ? कितना महीना का हुआ है? कॉल करेंगे आपको थोड़ा देर के बाद। कॉल करेंगे हम आपको लोग आपको। Okay, so it's like this. Once you click on save button, it should add the new value here. So let's go. Now for text box, you will call a function. For text box, you will call a function on change equal to this dot pick name. This dot pick name. This dot pick name. Button click. On click equal to call a function this dot save. Small changes are there while picking the value in the class component and functional component. Right, let's do this too. Okay, hope ready. To text box. Error will also come. Any error? No error. We have to create this function, pick function and save function. Go here, write a function, pick function. But before creating a pick function, you need to have one more variable here. Call a new user. New user colon empty. New user colon empty. New user colon empty. Next, after that, write a function call pick user. Pick user. Pick name. function name is pick name equal to obj variable earlier used to create under the HTML, you will create under the JS now, and you will write here this dot set state obj dot not obj dot new name new user colon obj dot target dot value. The value of text box will come and will go to the new user. Then after that, you will call a function called save. This dot set state this dot set state inside that user list colon this dot state dot user list dot concat inside dot state dot new user. One is to pick the value. We in the functional component also used to create no constant and variable to pick the value. Here we have to write a function separate. Object is same, like it is going to point to the function and take the value of targeted element and give to the new user. Store under the state, because new user is a part of your state. So it is taking the value from text box and giving to the state. Once you click on save button, it will take from a state and concat under the user list. Concat under the user list. We'll enter the value under the text box and click on save button. That value will get added under the text box easily. So I will appear here for Rajkumar. Save. It will add here. Check these two functions.
We don't want that.
Mhm.
But we want using constant.
Using function and variable.
Constant.
क्या बोला है डॉक्टर? हाँ?
1 वीक का दवा दिया है
कुछ इंटरनल प्रॉब्लम?
नहीं नॉर्मल